Hey guys, welcome back to 5-9 Gaming. It is me, the Masked Ningen, and I am here today to give you guys a little bit of an introduction into the two new mechanics that are coming to global with the release of the 6th anniversary right around the corner. Obviously, every anniversary usually brings some form of new mechanic, and this time we are getting two. So I have brought along my friend from the JP side. Say hello, Minato.
Hello everyone, and yeah.
So yeah, Minato, obviously being on the JP side, has had first-hand experience with these new mechanics, so we've brought him along so we can discuss and get to the bottom of just exactly how these mechanics work. So the first thing we're going to talk about is support memories. Obviously, if you've played the game at all in the last couple of weeks since the update, you will have seen the UI has changed to prepare for support memories. The last two item slots that never got to be used, rest in peace, gone forever, and that side of the bar has been replaced with the section where you can equip support memories. Obviously none of them are in the game as yet, but everything is set, ready to go for them to be included. So when it comes to the actual support memory item itself, how do we actually get those in order to be able to use them?
So yeah, there's two different ways that they have allowed us to obtain support memories before. One of them would be either they just give them out to you straight through login bonus, which you'll see in a few days in the 6th anniversary. I believe they gave you the first 4 out. And then another way to get it, which is how it has been basically after then, is they add them to a actual stage of an existing or brand new story event, and you would farm it up through there.
Okay, so they have to you have to get them in pieces, essentially, like farming up medals and things like that.
Correct. So with each support memory, you need 100 memory, as we would call it, to complete the support memory. Once you get 100 of them, then you basically unlock it and you're able to use it for the future.
It's unlocked forever then.
Correct.
Okay, so once you've got it unlocked, obviously then you want to go try it out. Obviously the new items that have been added, these film reels, so these are required to actually use the support memories. So how exactly do you get each of these film reel items?
So there are two ways to obtain the film reel items. Firstly is basically by clearing any event in the stage, you get a random amount of different film reels. And other than that, you could also have the option to buy the different film reels through the Baba shop by using Baba points. They are there permanently. You can just buy them whenever you would like.
Okay, so do they reset every time the shop resets? Like say if I buy, are they all available every time? So if I can buy like all 5 colors, and then when the barbershop resets, they're all back again? Is that the case?
So there's no limit to how many you buy. But what I would say is when you buy them, there's only, unfortunately, a certain amount of film you could hold. You can only hold around 200 at a time. After that, you will not be able to collect or hold anymore after that, or buy anymore. But if you use that film to activate your support memory, then you'll basically be able to restock, if that makes sense.
Okay, so once you get up to 200 of each of the film, you can't get any more. So assumingly if you do still carry on playing missions, obviously those are just essentially wasted. So it's a good idea to actually use them as you get them.
Correct.
So, and do they all cost the same number of film reels to use, or do they differ in values, or how does that work?
So they actually do differ in values. I believe the lowest I've seen a support memory cost was around 70 support film. And of course the highest that it can cost is 200, since you can only use 200. It depends on how they personally would rank on how powerful the item actually is. So yes, it's not specifically all support memories would cost this certain amount of actual reels. It differs from support memory to support memory.
Okay, so there's a different, I guess, the different combos of how you can use them before you then have to reset. Because I suppose if a memory costs more than 100 to use, it means you can only use it once, and then you're going to have to farm up more film reels in order to use it again. But you could use one that costs 100 and then set one that costs 70 and jump into a different event and be able to use that one as well. So
Yes.
I guess it's just it's just a case of keeping an eye on how many you have and then farming them up. So do they drop from any events in the game, or is it only specific ones? And do specific events drop specific colors, or how do we get like the different colors of the film?
So they do drop from most events in the game. I don't believe I believe they do not drop from Extreme Z battles, but other than that, I'm pretty sure they drop from every basically other story or, you know, normal event in the game. The very least events that use stamina, they definitely do drop. I would keep in mind that, again, once you reach the cap, you cannot collect any more than that. Along with that, they drop like randomly RNG, so you could technically get different types of support reels in different runs. They're not consistently from each stage to stage all the same. You get different varying drops in numbers or types.
Okay, so for example, if I say I use up all my film reels doing some Super Battle Road runs or something like that, if I then go off and do some link leveling, I can potentially get all of the different colors as drops by playing through like the quest stages, for example.
Yes.
Ah, excellent. Okay, so now when it comes to actually using the support memory, so I've picked one, I've got my film reels, I equip it, I go into battle. Like, how does it work in terms of actually using the support memory?
So each support memory does actually have a different type of condition, and once you fulfill that condition in battle, it'll activate automatically. So let's say, for example, one of the support memories has a HP condition where when you fall under 70% HP, that support memory would activate. It could be activated once per fight, so that means in stages like Extreme Super Battle Road, for instance, that could actually activate multiple times. Since you would have 3 different fights and stages like that. So basically it does activate automatically. You could almost think of it as a normal transformation condition. When you fulfill those conditions, you automatically transform. Same thing as support memories.
Okay. And you said there something actually that I thought was quite interesting. So you said about Super Battle Road being able to activate it in multiple fights. So I'm guessing this is one of those things then where if you're in like a long form event like Infinite Dragon Ball History, where obviously passives and everything carry over because it counts as one long fight, you can only use the one support memory for that entire thing. But if it's separate fights like Super Battle Road, obviously you can only equip one when you go into the event, but you're actually able to use it multiple times then.
That is exactly correct. So like in Infinite Dragon Ball History, there could be around 7-8 different phases. Since they're just phases, you can only use support memory once. But since like Super Battle Road would be 3 different fights, you could use them once in each fight, for example.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. So, in terms of the actual support memories, I've got a list up here on the wiki. There's a bunch of different types. What do you think are some of the best ones in your opinion?
So some of the best ones, in my opinion, one of them is actually the Kid Gohan Icarus one. So the Kid Gohan Icarus support memory, if I go ahead and bring this up right here real quick, the Kid Gohan support memory, just want to make sure it's correct. All right. So again, when you fall under 70% or less HP, which is the one I was speaking about earlier, you would have got 10% attack and defense to all allies for 1 turn. So this 10% attack and defense boost, it actually calculates separately from like say start of turn passives, I believe. So it's technically a greater boost than 10%. So that's something you could always keep in mind with. I think another... Go on.
So it's like the B-Pan Easy A basically.
Yes, correct.
Not Easy A active skill, sorry, yeah.
I believe it would work
cool.
similarly to active skills, correct. Another very strong one, which this one is a little more difficult to get, would be Zeno's Welcome Words. It's one that you get after completing all the stages of the God of Destruction events. Essentially, what it does, it gives all Universe Survival Saga category allies 10% attack and defense during the entire battle. So basically, it's just for the entire duration of the fight, you'll get that 10% extra attack and defense. And of course, given all the Universe Survival Saga buffs we get during this anniversary, it's definitely a very strong one for sure. And there's two others I specifically would like to say. They're not technically useful for, in a fight, but there's Oolong's Wish, and then there is, I believe, a Bra. It would be Bullet is Shopping, actually. What those do specifically is they increase additional drop rates, increase that using events that have additional category drops. So Oolong would increase it by 50%, and Bullet would increase it by 85%.
Okay, so bonus reward drop increased events. So this will be things like the, just for example, I think there's one that's up at the moment, the Kid Goku Vegeta, Kid Vegeta and Raditz event. You get bonus drops if you have a Pure Saiyan team, so it's that kind of thing, right? Where a special team gives you bonus drops, and then this memory is going to give you extra bonus drops then.
Correct. So let's say if you use the Oolong one, that gives an additional 50%. If your Pure Saiyan category boost is 150% normal, when you use the actual support memory, it'll add that 50% to it. So instead of 150, it would go up to 200. And same thing basically with the Bra or Bullet one, where it's at 85%. So that would add an extra 85 to it. Definitely,
yeah, that's a huge buff.
Definitely, yes, could help you in terms of completing those events faster. Those ones I use, I feel like a lot, obviously, with the amount of category bonus drops that we get in these events nowadays.
Because, yeah, if you're 85%, if you're running like a full LR team for the specific category, you can easily get your bonus over 200%. So that's potentially going to push you up to like 300%. So that definitely seems like it would make farming a little bit easier. Although I see the Buller one does cost 120, so I guess that's one of the ones you can only use that one once, and then you have to farm up some more support reels. But
or
yeah,
again,
that one,
you could also buy it from the Baba shop as well.
true as well. Yeah, that's actually a very good point. So yeah, the Zeno one, so just to point out, I'm looking at the list of them here, like we said before. So each memory, to actually be able to use it, you have to collect all the fragments. It seems like every other one has 100, whereas the Zeno one has 12. Like Minato was saying, that's because the special god event that comes out as part of the celebration, you get one piece for being each of the gods, I believe. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that releases in stages over the course of the anniversary. You get 4 gods at a time, 3 times. So in the last part of the anniversary, when all 12 are actually available, that's when you'll be able to get this one. And yeah, this one seems pretty crazy, because a lot of the other ones, like you say, some of them are once only, and they give you something for like 1 or 2 turns, which in something like Infinite Dragon Ball History, that you're going through quite a few phases, they might not be as useful. But yeah, this one being active for the entire battle, that means any of these events where you're actually going to be taking your Universe Survival Saga, or even reps of Universe 7, since most of them are on that category, that's going to be a really, really powerful one. So I can see why it's quite difficult to unlock.
Definitely. One thing to keep in mind, though, as since how powerful it is, it does cost 200 reels. But again, support memories, are the actual reels themselves, are definitely not difficult to obtain at all.
Yeah, I suppose, and like we said, since that's how you can get them if you're somebody who's pretty into your link leveling, that's that feels like that's going to be a good way to restock on some of these. So okay, so that pretty much covers everything for support memories. Obviously, if you have any further questions, let us know down below in the comments, and we'll be happy to try and clarify anything. So moving on to the second of the new mechanics. There's no actual wiki page for it, but I'm going to bring up the characters here. We have the revival skill. So new ability being added to the game. It is character specific, so certain characters will have a revival skill. Obviously it's the new characters coming with the anniversary. So to start off with, Minato, let us know a little bit. So the clue is probably in the name, but what exactly is the revival skill?
So yeah, just to basically plainly explain what the revival skill is, it allows you to survive a KO hit taken from any of your units on the rotation, and basically you're able to recover a certain amount of HP and just live a KO attack, which is of course very powerful.
Yeah, so that's the one thing that is very important to point out. So let's say Goku, for example, because we've got his page up here. So I have Goku's revival skill active, and then say I've got Android 17 on the turn. If he takes a super attack and gets KO'd while Goku's revival skill is up, it will activate, won't it? Even though it's not Goku that actually took the attack.
Yes, it does not have to be the unit that actually has the revival skill. It could be any of your 3 units on the rotation.
I definitely feel like that's the right way they should have done it, because otherwise I can't imagine how annoying it would be to have Goku's revival skill active and then somebody else gets super attacked and you get killed. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a super good way of doing it. So from the start of the anniversary, when it drops, there are 3 characters, I guess technically 2 right at the start. Goku and Vegeta are the 2 headline banner units. Both of them have a revival skill, and then Master Roshi, who follows the same kind of blueprint as the Zamasu in Goku's body from last year, where he starts off as an SSR, will eventually awaken all the way up to being an Easy Aid LR. And once he gets to the LR status, he has a revival skill as well. So talk to us a little bit about the restrictions for these revival skills. What exactly are we going to have to do in order to see these abilities?
So, in terms of all of them, all 3 of them share, you need to be under a certain amount of HP entering the turn. So, no, for let's say, for example, I believe the Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta and both UI Goku, they want to be under 50% or less HP starting from this first turn of battle. I believe Master Roshi has to be under 60% less HP, but either way, you need to be under a certain HP threshold. From there on, it differs from the unit. So Master Roshi wants 2 or more Turtle Skull allies, and then it depends on how many hits the Blue Evolution or UI Goku takes. And once you fulfill those conditions, you will be able to use the revival skill.
So yeah, let's see here. So Master Roshi, 2 Turtle Skull allies on the same team, which I guess will be quite easy to do. In SSBE Vegeta, he needs to receive attacks 7 times. So obviously this is one of those important clarifications for these kind of passives. Receives attack means he does actually have to be hit. So for Vegeta, obviously he's an int unit. If you have him at 55%, he's going to have level 5 dodge. If he dodges, that's obviously not going to count as one of those attacks. And so you can see with the Goku here up on the screen, he only needs to receive an attack 3 times, which doesn't seem like a lot, but AGL UI Goku does have a 70% chance to dodge built into his passive. So obviously he's going to be dodging most of the time. But and I'm assuming with these revival skills, considering how powerful they are, let's say, for example, early on in an event, say my RNG is pretty bad and Goku does get hit 3 times within the first couple of fights of, say, an Infinite Dragon Ball History stage. So my revival skill is active, and then one of my weaker support units takes a super attack. I quote-unquote die, but I get my revival with Goku. Then as I play through the rest of the event, am I able to use that ability again, or is it once only per event?
So the revive skill could be used only once per fight. It's actually similar to how the support memories work. So as we discussed earlier, support memories in like Extreme Super Battle Road, you could use it once during each fight. Since there's 3 separate fights in Extreme Super Battle Road, you could use it even in if you get lucky enough or unlucky enough. I guess it depends on the how you view it. You can technically use the revive skill once in each of those fights. However, if you have multiple units on the team that has a revive skill, you can only use it once again. So say if UI Goku gets in one turn, the next turn in that same fight, you cannot use it with like Blue Evolution Vegeta if he hasn't used his, for example. So that is more or less how it works. It's similar in sense to the support memories.
Okay, so are you able to use like 2 separate characters' revival skills in the same event? But I get obviously it would be on a different turn.
No. So
that's it. So once you get Goku's, for example, if Vegeta's on the opposite rotation and you'd already fulfilled the conditions for his one.
Yes, so what would happen is basically usually you'll see under your HP bar you'll see a message that says revive with a little heart symbol. When you could use it, the heart symbol will kind of flash with like a yellow pulsating aura, and then after you use the revive skill it'll basically become colorless and gray, which will signify you cannot use the revive skill again even if you have another character that didn't activate a revive.
Ah, see, there you go. That was actually one detail that I personally wasn't too sure on, because I was pretty sure you couldn't use the same character's one again. But yeah, so you can only use one even if you have multiple characters that have a revival skill. So that is definitely something that is worth keeping in mind if you are going to be running all of these units together, obviously on like the Reps of Universe 17 or something like that. So yeah, overall, what's been your experience with actually getting the revival skills? Are you able to see them in a wide variety of the events, or is it only really in like the end game super hard content? And just how powerful a mechanic is this?
So what I would say is definitely you won't see in things like Dokkan events or story events. No way that's going to be possible. It's 100% geared towards difficult event and end game contents. Between the 3 revive units we have currently, I would say if I was rank how easy you can get them, Master Roshi's is definitely the easiest because you only have to be under 6% HP and just have another 2 Turtle Skull category units on the team. So just slap both UI Gokus on your team, and if you fall under 6% HP you can revive, which is huge. Again, for the other 2 you have to receive attacks, but you know, UI Goku just dodges everything. Blue Evolution Vegeta, 7 attacks is still a lot to take in difficult content. That definitely could take a few turns. I've most seen it in the God of Destruction event myself, because I feel like personally that is the hardest content we currently do have available in the game. It's a very powerful thing because when you see that revive active, you know for sure no matter what you don't have to use an item that turn. You're completely safe. You could even play it a little risky because okay, I'm going to, even if I do die this turn, I will be able to go ahead and recover like 60-70% HP depending on the unit, and you will be all set. So it just makes you feel more secure in your units, especially when you do have it active. But they're definitely not the easiest thing to activate, I would say.
Yeah, it definitely seems like with the no coincidence that they're releasing at the same time. It definitely seems like they are geared to be something to help you out with the God event, since like you say, it is basically becomes the hardest end game content that we have available in the game. So one thing I did actually want to clarify, just for people who might not be too sure, when you get the revival skill go off, so let's say my second unit on the rotation, the guy in slot 2, takes a super attack, gets KO'd, I get my revival skill. Does it play out the rest of the turn, or does it just go on to the next turn?
No, so what'll happen is essentially you'll get that fancy, you know, animation that plays like let's think of UI Goku just kind of getting up from the dust and just saying something in Japanese. I don't know what he says, but then you actually skip that existing turnaround. So even if it's the character in the first slot that receives the KO attack, you skip every single other attack that hasn't been done in their rotation, and you move on to the next turn.
So obviously it is super useful for saving you from death, but yeah, you won't get any of the rest of the attacks off for that turn, so that's obviously important to keep in mind. So but yeah, it's like you mentioned, actually I'm quite looking forward to seeing the English dub versions of the revival skills, because I re-watched the animations in preparation for this video and they are pretty damn good. So especially Vegeta's, I'm a big fan of that moment from the show with the him thinking about his family and his pride and everything, so I'm looking forward to seeing the English dub version of that.
Yes, they all look fantastic. Definitely, probably one of the better animations in the game, honestly, which definitely is nice, considering, you know, the revive skill is such a powerful ability to get off.
Well, there you go. So 2 very interesting new mechanics coming to Global for the anniversary, giving you a whole new approach to the way you play these harder events, giving yourself some very useful buffs that can help some of you out for the difficult content that is to come. So let us know what you think of these abilities down below in the comments. Like I said earlier as well, if you have any further questions about either of these new mechanics, do feel free to comment down below, and hopefully someone will be able to answer those comments. So I want to say a shout out to Minato for coming onto the video and helping explain from the experienced JP side. I'm sure a bunch of us global players appreciate the first-hand knowledge, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to using them in game myself. So anything else you want to add before we head off here?
I would say global players, the 6th anniversary is definitely a wonderful fun thing. These new mechanics are nice and interesting, definitely bring a nice spin to the game and make you kind of think a little differently, especially when you're able to use these different mechanics introduced. Good luck on your summons and have fun with these units.
Well, there you go. So that is going to be it from us over here at 5-9 Gaming. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, obviously follow us across all of our social media, and just like Minato, I wish you all good luck with your anniversary summons, and we will see you all again soon.